Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin Strand coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner, and I think my phone mount might finally be giving it up because I'm having a harder time getting it to, and I couldn't get my horizontal orientation to stay, and then my phone decided to restart itself. So I do apologize for that. So my chat is sideways. So anyway, what I got is the third of the four randomly picked MREs that I got from MRE House, and this is done by Warnick. So there is no date code on the bag. It is one of the three bag designs that have been in use for quite a few years, maybe almost a couple of decades. So this is menu 18, and I'm going to expect that this one may be a 2022 pack. I will put a thumbnail in later. I think I'm just going to have to invest in a different phone mount because this one, I noticed a crack in the ring that I used to tighten it. I cannot tighten it anymore. I've super glued it quite a few years ago when another part of it cracked. But again, I have had this thing almost 20 years. So I got the peelable seal to work. Everything is loose in here, not double packed like what Sapeco and Miracle do. This is a recovery bar. This is actually not too bad. I knew there had to be some kind of a bar in there because this is on top, like if I had the bag printed side down. So that's a recovery bar. This is the sleeve that contains the information for the beef ravioli. And it has all this stuff on the other side. Let's see, is there Yep. This recovery bar was packed in 2022. This is fruit punch in the shaker bag. The flameless ration heater. Got the usual spoon, which I save and add to my supply of plastic spoons. Got the accessory pack. The plain cheese spread. It's actually upside down. There we go. Here's a real treat that the the soldier in the field who would be issued this MRE would not mind having. Italian breadsticks. I actually like those. And the last thing in the bag is the cheese tortellini. Or no, beef ravioli, sorry. And then that looks like this one was packed at towards the end of, unless I'm reading that wrong, very close to the end of 2021. So I would definitely say this is a 2022 pack. And as usual, I will use the MRE bag as a trash bag. Sometimes these accessory packs are a little hard to open, but what we got in here, the rear roll, a bottle of Tabasco, got the usual matches, when it's in this portrait mode or vertical mode, I have a hard time getting this thing to focus. D.D. Bean and Sons makes the matches. Got the usual wet wipe. Setting these off to the side. Same gum, the peppermint gum. And salt in these packets that look like something that would come from a commercial wholesale supply company like Cisco or Aramark or something like that. Packed in 2022. No coffee, but I got a plan for that. I'm going to mix in my drinking jar instead of the shaker pouch. But you can see how red that is. The reason why I do it that way is it controls the dust that these things are notorious for producing. And I mix these drinks first because they take such a long time to dissolve. I don't know what the deal is with these particular menus that I've gotten. No coffee or any other hot drink was included. I'm going to put that back there. So I am going to take the ravioli into the kitchen, and I'm actually going to take these in, the breadsticks and the cheese spread. And now I actually warm them up. Of course, I won't put these in the water. They will just occupy space on my warm stovetop. Then I will come back with, I'll make myself a cup of tea. Little sugar in the mug. I just took the kettle back into the kitchen just to get it out of the way. Again, I apologize for not looking at the chat, but this vertical orientation thing is driving me up the wall backwards, so I couldn't get my horizontal to stay like I did last week. But I can see burger butt and burger butt, spicy tuna rolls. And the Carlos Perry's in the house. Oh no, it just went black and white for some reason. I'm gonna have to see if I can figure this out, how to get rid of that. Okay, I must have hit some kind of a color thing. There we go. And sorry about that. Yes, somehow zoomed in too, and I didn't want that either. But anyway, let's start opening up a couple of things. I have my breadsticks getting a little residual heat, same with the cheese spread. For those that have not seen it, this is double wrapped, so the inside of this is clean. And the quality of this wrapper is actually better than the Pop-Tarts one. It's double layered, so there's a clear layer, there's a Mylar layer. It looks kind of like a Rice Krispie bar, but more condensed. And for those just coming in late, 2022 pack, I will add that year to the title later. This is standard retail packaging with the best before date on there. But I tore it. Looked like it said best before sometime in 23, which was last year. I'm giving my drink another stir because it needs it. I noticed when Steve 1989 opened up a new style MRE pack, the accessory pack was just as skimpy, except his didn't have Tabasco sauce. It had a seasoning powder. And that's in a wrapper that looks like what you would find in the Sapaco and Ameriquois MREs, except for the face of it is the same color as the tan bags. So he put up a comparison of a 2024 menu, which replaced, I think he had that barbecue beef or whatever that was from, I think, 2023. Just last year or 22. So this is what that recovery bar looks like. You can see it looks a lot like a compressed version of a Rice Krispie bar. And the M&Ms look absolutely perfect. I'm going to go back for the breadsticks and the cheese spread. Not super warm since I didn't put them on direct heat. Let's see what these look like. I can definitely smell the herbs. Oxygen absorber left behind. When they're slightly warmed, you can break them apart. I'm putting some on each breadstick. Yes, I'm a tea bag squeezer. I don't want to waste a single drop of that goodness. I will get the raviolis and I'll be right back. I got the main, now I'm going to dry it off. Because the tear notch goes this way, I shake the food down like this. And if it went this way, I would do the same thing, or if I was going to cut it across, but I'll go ahead and do it this way. There we go, get that out of there. I still have a little bit of cheese spread left in here. And of course I have to bring in the old parm. But I want to taste this sauce by itself to see if it has that sickening sweet taste. That the reduced sodium one did. It's not quite as bad, but it's still too sweet. There we go, we'll mix this in. This will definitely cut through that sweetness that they really don't need to be doing. Again, I apologize for not reading the chat. It's just hard to look at it the way I have my phone positioned. No, that definitely helps. And the saltiness of the cheese spread actually brings out the flavor, the savory flavors of the sauce. This is the actual size of the ravioli. typical excessively artificially colored fruit punch. I'll go ahead and take a bite of one of these cheese sticks, or these breadsticks that I turned into cheese sticks. I really do like the Italian breadsticks. They have so much more flavor than the plain old wheat snack breads. Going for another one of these. I would almost have to stand up to read the chat. And I have done that. I'm standing up right now. I'm scrolling back through the chat. There we go. So right now this is about the best view I can give you. My tea is in the mug from Delicious. So it's another shout out to him. I put up a video earlier today of the 2 Spanish rations that I received. I bought them on eBay, but they were delivered by Amazon. Sometimes eBay sellers will make up the listing, but then they order the item off of Amazon and then put their buyer's address into where you can have Amazon ship the item to. So I've run into this a few more times. Sometimes you can find legit military rations on Amazon, and they are already in the US. But because of the way things have changed, I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to do that unless they have some permissions that are necessary to import meat items from other countries. And I have no idea if those same things would apply to, say, that one time I bought a halal MRE from a seller in Lithuania. It did not get messed with. So I don't know if it just got lucky with that one, or if customs decided not to reject it because I did not see any signs of the package being opened. I'm going to have another drink of this. I'm going to take a bite of this recovery bar. I can definitely taste the caramel, and I pick up a little bit of the salt, but I think that's just enough to bring out the caramel flavor, and it's kind of like a cross between a granola bar and a Rice Krispie bar. It's got a shine to it, but it's not overly sticky. But that's actually a pretty nice bar. I wouldn't mind being able to find something like that on the commercial market. So there is a look at the bits of ground beef that are in the meat sauce. It definitely has that texture of highly processed meat. But adding the cheese definitely cuts away the sweetness that would kind of overtake it. I think the last time I had a ravioli MRE, not the reduced sodium type, was probably back, I think it was in 2017. Might have been 2017. Or earlier. I would have to dig way back into my videos for that. So seems like a couple of things have changed. That earlier one actually had a hot drink like coffee, but these ones that I got did not have coffee or any kind of hot drink option. I don't know what's up with that. And just like that 2024 that Steve 1989 opened up, no coffee. And he had that chocolate hazelnut protein drink that I've had. And he actually liked it. So I don't know if that's going to be a more common with these 2024s and forward. I have no idea. I don't know anything about that. Gonna have another bite of this. I think you should be able to see the bits of herb in there. I do like it with the cheese spread, although the plain cheese spread is still quite salty. I suppose that helps since salt is a preservative, I'm pretty sure that helps in preserving it to keep it edible longer. Put a ravioli on top of the breadstick. Now that definitely cuts through the dryness of the breadstick. And it cuts through the saltiness of the cheese. But there's not enough of these raviolis to do that with the rest of it. I see Chosik has come in. This is menu 18, packed in 2022. I will add the year to the title after I close out the stream. No coffee in this one. So I have some Arabic black tea, which I like. In my delicious mug. That is my review mug. So for the time being, I have retired my foreign MRE mug. I may still bring it out if I'm doing too hot things. Gonna have another bite of this pretty awesome recovery bar. I wonder if other flavors are gonna be produced besides this salted caramel. I'm also curious if these recovery bars are going to replace the first strike bar or just be an alternate. You know, switching back and forth between the two bars. I guess we'll find out in the next few years. Again, for those who will be watching this stream later, I apologize for the funkiness at the beginning. I was trying to set up and get my phone in the phone mount to position it, and it just went and it took away my horizontal orientation that I wanted. But I'm also having an issue with this phone mount in itself. I've seen another crack in a different part from where I had super glued it years ago. So I will be looking for another phone mount. I do like this type. But the plastic on this clamp that holds my phone to the mount itself, it's probably coming near its lifetime, end of its life. It swivels on a ball head, and this plastic nut would tighten or loosen it, but I cannot adjust that anymore because of the previous cracks. Probably from how I have had it positioned in the past, but I do want to get on looking at some newer ones with these ones that are easily articulated where you can literally bend it instead of having joints, maybe one or two joints that can be moved. So I will definitely be looking at that. Gonna have another bite of the breadstick. I'll probably look on both Amazon and eBay for these phone mounts, look at my different options. The clamp that clamps it to a desk or a table is awesome. It's very strong, but I put some folded cardboard in it to protect the top surface that I clamp it to because it can scratch. And I just want to avoid that, so I have a piece of folded cardboard in there. I got some more rations on the way. Besides the 2 Spanish ones that I got off of eBay. And I went ahead and looked up the menu numbers, which ones they were, and one of them is one of my favorites. The meatballs with peas. I really do like that. I had just a loose can, but one time I just opened it up and ate it. I was originally going to save it for a ration mash-up, but I just got hungry for it and ate it. The last one that I have in this set of 4 that I got from MRE House is the plain chicken chunks. And I'm going to guess that because it was included in this lot that the site said had an inspection date of 2025. I'm going to assume that it just has something like mayonnaise, or it might have barbecue sauce, or just some kind of sauce or condiment in a packet. I don't know if it will have an FRH in it or not. So I may save that one for another day and then just strip it. Use the chicken for something and some of the other things for other, and maybe open up one of the 2 Spanish rations. So that might be what's going on next Sunday. I'm not sure. Or I could open up the MRE, but add something from my stash to it to kind of change up that chicken. What I did at camp a few years ago when I was with some other Iowa YouTubers, like Tack from what she now calls ALK Urban Homestead. On Instagram, her name is still ALK Foraging and Adventures, but YouTube is ALK Urban Homestead. But I had a freeze-dried entree. I think it was just rice, one of the Minotaur rice with vegetables. Before I put the hot water in there, I dumped a whole pouch of the white chicken chunks and then put the hot water in that, mixed it up, so I had chicken and rice. And of course I added my own seasonings to that. So that was definitely a filling lunch. I have a few of those entrees, but I would have to look at them to decide which one would go best with the chicken. And I would add it to that. And that could be next week's dinner. But what I decide, I will go ahead and toss a post up. Lump of cheese fell off. Well, the cheese kind of firmed up now that it's been cooled. I rubbed the bottom of the cheese, the breadstick, in the little bit of sauce that's still on the tray. Got to do something to cut the dryness of this bread, even though I really do enjoy these breadsticks. I haven't heard anything new yet on the future of these artificial colors. If they will eventually be banned, and if the contractors that do make the drink mixes for the military will get an exemption and still be allowed to use them. I have no idea. I haven't seen or heard anything on that, but it is getting out there that these artificial colors are being looked at as possible problems. I haven't seen any new chat, so I don't know if it's my chat is not working or if no one is just dropping any comments. Again, I do apologize for not reading it. It's just I can't when it's sideways. I would love to find this bar in a store. I really would. I really like this. There we go. Now it looks like the chat is freed up. Hugo Homestead is dropped in. My beef ravioli is almost gone. But this is 2022 pack, menu 18. Warnick does not put the 4-digit date code on their packaging or on the outside bag like Sapaco and Ameriqual do. So the first digit in a US MRE date code represents the year. So this is 2022. For certain things, it can be confusing because you don't, if it's something that has been around for a decade or two even, if it's from 2012, a totally different packaging would indicate 2002. But if an item has not been around all that long, so definitely 2022. And because this is a new item, and then these other 3 digits, that's a 012. So this one was packed on January 12th of 2022. So Canadian date codes use 2 digits for the year. So it's a 5-digit code as opposed to a 4-digit. If that was done here, that would probably cut that confusion. I put the sauce on the breadstick. This came with regular cheese spread, so not jalapeno. If it was a cheese spread with bacon, obviously would not be opening it because it is made with real bacon and I don't eat pork. But I also got Parmesan from my kitchen and added that to the ravioli because the sauce, just like the reduced sodium version, it's too sweet. I think a ravioli sauce should be savory. It should not have any sweetness. So I don't know what was up with that. Tim Riley is here. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, my chat is sideways. Very hard for me to read because I could not hold my orientation. and the settings were acting up, like the different color modes just went crazy. It went black and white, and then I had to find the normal one to restore it, and then it zoomed in, and I did not want that, so I had to fix that. So again, for those that are watching from the beginning, you see all that weirdness. I do apologize for that. And my phone mount is starting to show its age. I don't know how many more streams I can do with it, but I'm definitely going to look out for some new phone mounts. I've had this one for probably 15, 16 years. Yeah, I got it for doing like video chats that I was doing. And then I just kept it and started using it for live streaming and some video shoots. I use it for some video shoots if I want to look directly down at whatever I'm recording. I've also used it when I want to have both hands free to manipulate whatever item I am looking at, doing the video on. So I have used it for other video shoots like that in addition to live streaming. I've already paid my bills for September. I still have a prescription to get filled. I could not get that on Friday when I went into the pharmacy. And I tried to contact my doctor's office, but it had already closed for the day, so their after-hours person left a message for my doctor to see. Can't do it tomorrow because of the Labor Day holiday here in the U.S. Nothing's open, no buses. Unlike the really big cities that have their buses 7 days a week, even on major holidays. Not so much here in Des Moines. So I will have to wait till then to get it. Plus, I need to get a couple more items that I just could not carry on Friday. I did not take my hauler with me when I went to the mosque because I wasn't planning on getting a whole lot. But then someone left some things there that are just not the right type of item, and such a low quantity that it's just not worth the time to save it until more of it can be acquired. Although we are starting to build back our disposables for Ramadan. Just to try to get ahead of the game, so to speak. Prepping. So getting the mosque to get into prepping, so to speak. That way we can have the supplies that we need for events that we're going to do, especially when Ramadan comes around. It'll be at the beginning of March. So I will be adding some supplies later on to help build that up. So just getting them, into the prepping mindset, if not for a disaster, but just for future events. That way we don't have to go crazy trying to get things, because we have had some issues with not being able to find certain things. And we just want to avoid that. We serve lunch after the Friday prayers, except during Ramadan. So we have to build back up our supplies for that. And, the more people that contribute to that, it'll be easier. That way, a few people don't have to try to blow their bank accounts to buy it all. But, just getting them into kind of a prepping mindset. And I think once we get more into it and just make that a regular habit of always keeping stocked up, then it just gives peace of mind. Just like prepping for disasters, or if someone who works loses their job or becomes permanently disabled. You got to have stuff set aside to deal with that, to give you a cushion. My sister who had foot surgery, she's got to have another one this month to try to fix what did not work from her previous surgery after Thanksgiving, because her foot and ankle did not heal right. So she hasn't been able to work since before Thanksgiving of last year. That's in November for us in the U.S. Canadian Thanksgiving is in October. But if she has to go on permanent disability and will not be able to work, the household income will drop. And so there will have to be additional sources of income. But if they are stocked up and prepared to deal with that, and if my sister can find something that she can do that doesn't involve a whole lot of physical work, like she did working in a daycare center in the baby room, and you're doing a lot of physical work when you're taking care of babies. But if she can find something to earn a little extra income, then that will be a cushion. But prepared for that, then it's a lot easier to transition into that different lifestyle. CR is in the house from north of the border. Thanks for dropping in. This was packed in 2022. I added Parmesan cheese to the ravioli. And this one did not come with a hot drink option, so I got a tea bag from my kitchen in my delicious mug that came all the way from Poland. Again, thanks to him for sending it out. I put it's a regular cheese spread on the Italian breadsticks. Those little green flecks are the herbs that were put into the dough when this was baked. The sauce on the ravioli was too sweet, so adding the cheese in definitely cut through that sweetness. There's already enough sweetness from the fruit punch, and then the salted caramel recovery bar, which is very delicious. I do enjoy this bar. This would be a good part of my breakfast during Ramadan if I had a mess of these. It's like a cross between a granola bar and a Rice Krispie bar, and it's condensed. It's not super hard to bite into, especially when it's soft. You know, if it's frozen, it would be harder to bite into, but, you know, sitting at room temperature, very easy to bite into. Of course, you got the classic M&Ms with a lot of blue ones in there. A good morale booster for the soldier in the field who would get this one. I have one of these MREs left from the ones that I got from MRE House, which looks very similar to MRE Mountain and MRE Empire. So I don't know if they are sister companies or it just happens to be a coincidence that their sites and their emails look very similar. But MRE House is where I got that camp shower bag and that Polish emergency candle. So I'll still look at them from time to time to see if they are growing their inventory beyond the few items that they have had so far, and they had some pretty good sales. But with this first order, I did not want to take the chance of buying a foreign ration because they ship from outside the US, and I didn't want to take the chance of having them raided. So that's why I went with the US MREs. But this time around, I went with MRE Mountain for some orders. So I should be getting those this coming week. And once I get those, I will show you what came in those packages. I ordered a foreign breakfast ration, which has no meat in it at all, so I am curious if it is going to be rated or not. And sorry for not reading the chat. It is sideways. I could not hold my horizontal orientation like I wanted. If I'm doing something other than a review, I might stream on my Kindle. I've shot a couple of videos with it, but I have not streamed with it, so I may do a test stream with that just to see how it goes. But we'll save that for another time. We do have a Labor Day parade here tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to go check it out. I want to do some laundry and just chill with the cat. There's a close-up of the M&Ms. They taste just like I had gone to a store and bought a pack. I think being inside of this bag helped preserve them a little bit. Yeah, I'm glad the ration packers are still dropping in these little morale boosters on occasion. But I wish they would start putting the hot drinks back in the accessory packets again. I'm curious why 3 out of these 4 MREs in this set did not have any hot drink options. And they did include this little Tabasco. I got quite the collection of these now. This is a perfect size bottle to put in my camping food bag. If I wanted to take something where I would add a little spice to it, I could toss this in there. I still have the British hot diggity ones. They have more in them than this. But I have those. I have the different hot sauce packets from different rations. That is part of my emergency stash. I have the full-size bottles of hot sauces as well, as you've seen them in my shopping hauls. So I do like to have a wide variety of seasonings and condiments. That way, if I have to rely on my food storage, I don't have to have the same flavor every time. I can change it up in so many different ways. Mike Kreischer is in the house. Thanks for dropping in. And my chat is sideways. I got stuck with the vertical orientation, which I don't like. But this is my dinner. This is packed in 2022. I wish Warnick would put the date codes on the bags. That way we don't have to guess. So this is the brand of the tea that I had. The staple there is kind of cutting through the name. Alwaza Ceylon tea. The red swan is their logo. And this is just that same in Arabic. My delicious mug. Because the first two MREs in this set did not have hot drink options, I decided I'm going to go ahead and set something up in case I have that same thing again. This is the fruit punch, the basic fruit punch. It's so red. When I finish it, there's a slight red tinge to the inside of my drinking jar. No other U.S. military drink mixes have that, other than the tropical punch, which has a bit of an orange undertone, but it still leaves that red tinge behind. Outside of Canadian drink mixes, most foreign drink mixes don't have all that artificial color. Or if they do, it's a lower amount of it. So the color isn't so obnoxious. Natural colors, yeah. I would love to see more of that in U.S. military drink mixes. Although you're going to get the artificial color in these M&Ms, but hey, they're M&Ms. As I said earlier, I got in 2 Spanish rations. They were delivered today. They were ordered on eBay, but the seller had ordered them on Amazon and then put my shipping address into the destination part where you enter the address where you want the item shipped to. So that was delivered today, and I got no clue that it was going to be delivered today. But fortunately, someone does what I do. If a package is left outside on the step and I happen to see it there, I don't care whose name on it. Yeah, I will bring it inside. And last week I did just that. There are 2 packages outside. I was coming back into the building. I dumped off some, checked the mailbox, and I was coming back into the building. I saw these packages, so I took them inside. And then a woman came down to go check her mail, and she saw that there were a couple of packages there, and I said, yeah. I brought them inside because I didn't want them to get stolen by a porch pirate. Plus, it was so hot outside, I didn't want them to get cooked. So she looked at them. They had her name on it, so yeah. I was able to make sure she got those packages because they did feel pretty warm sitting on the step. So they must not have been there very long before I saw them. So yeah. So I think someone did that with the box that was delivered that had my name on it. So that's what the earlier video today is, me opening up that box. The box had a bit of damage on the corner, so I decided to go ahead and open it up just to make sure that the rations inside were not damaged in any way. And so one did look like the outer bag was opened a bit, but I think that was it. So 2 Spanish rations labeled as lunch, although they could easily be supper ones. And the one is tuna, and then there's a pate in that one. And then the other one is one of my favorite Spanish mains, the meatballs with peas. Some people may not like that, but I actually do. And then the 3rd Spanish ration that I ordered from MRE Mountain, and that one is a breakfast one. So I guess I will see if that one gets opened up before I get a chance to open it up. Plus, I ordered some other items off of that site, which will be shipped separately. And I think you'll like seeing what those are all about. So next week, I will have to decide if I want to open up the 4th MRE in this group, which is the chicken chunks white cooked, to see if I want to open that up and then play with it, mix those chicken chunks into something else and make that my dinner. Or if I want to open up one of those 2 Spanish rations and have that as my dinner. And but I do hope to get the other items before next Sunday, or at least some of them. Then on the 22nd of this month, I will probably not go live because I don't know when I will be coming back from the White Eagle Multicultural Powwow, which I volunteer at every year doing the kids' crafts. It's always the third weekend in September at Jester Park. So I will have some video of some of the things going on there when I get a chance, because I and one other person are doing the kids' crafts, and we can get a lot of kids for quite a bit of time coming over to our tables. So I may not get away to go record something else. But when there is a bit of downtime and there's something else going on in the performance area, which is usually referred to as the circle, then I will record some of that. There are performances from not only Native American tribes, but people that represent different cultures from around the world, even if they are based right here in Des Moines. Now we've had Kung Fu demonstrations, Japanese large drum demonstrations, Hawaiian, Aztec, and some belly dancing and all kinds of things like that. So if I can record some of that, then I will. But I will also take some pictures. And I'll post them up on Facebook and maybe here on a YouTube post. I might toss some of those up. So, because it takes about an hour, well, maybe about a half hour, but I help clean up and start to take things down as much as I'm able. Even with my right knee getting worse. I'll still do what I can because, I just have to go there. And having been on the committee since I presented the wagon to them last November, I'm just enjoying being involved with it. Last Sunday, some of us went to a city park and did a little cleanup there. And I have a video on the item that I brought. Our committee chair did a little giveaway thing, and that shelving unit that I did a video on came from that, but I will try to use some super glue to fix those two connector pieces that broke so I can bring it up to the full 4 levels. But right now that is on my deck. I set it up for 3 levels. And basically gonna weather test it. We haven't had a whole lot of rain since I put that thing together. But then I'm going to weight test it. The connectors are plastic, so I cannot imagine a whole lot of weight being put on those fabric pieces that serve as the shelves, because it is designed for shoes after all. But I could put small pots that are sitting on plates on the top level. That way I can raise some of them up so that they get a little bit more light than whereas, the way I got my one all metal shoe rack out there that serves as a plant stand. So this will be a test of that thing. But it brings them up, so it will be a lot easier to water them. But if they don't work out as a plant stand, I can still make use of it elsewhere, or I could simply take it apart, find some bag to put the pieces in, and store it for later use. But I do want to give it some testing. But I will do another video on that if I'm able to successfully superglue those broken connectors. So again, the 22nd, I will most likely not be streaming because I don't know when I will actually leave Jester Park to come back here. I have a driver. She is my crafts partner also. But that is something I do look forward to doing every year, ever since I got hooked into it. Just kind of fell into it by, well, maybe not by accident, but when it was at the fairgrounds I attended, I wanted to just check it out because I had never seen native dancers in person. So I wanted to go check it out, and I went to the kids' crafts area, and the other person said, can you hang out here? I got to go take a break. And then, yeah, sure, I'll hang. So I did, and when she came back, I just stayed. And then that was a Saturday, and then Sunday, I went back and did it again. And because I had no idea about what I could have for a meal, I took a halal entree, one of these, and a bag like this. I fired up the FRH and I put it inside of the MRE bag, and because it was already hot outside, yeah, it was a hot day that day. This FRH bag literally fused to the inside of the MRE bag. I couldn't separate them. But it still worked. It heated up my food so I could have a little lunch. And then I had a couple other things to eat as well. But yeah, that's kind of how I fell into this. And then when I got the 2 wagons from Amazon, and because there was a shipping snafu, they said, we'll ship you another one and we'll even refund your money. So I got a refund on the original purchase. And they said, if you do get both wagons, you can keep them both. So I said, okay, yeah, whatever. So then I thought, you know what? I think the powwow committee could use this. So I contacted the chairwoman and I said, I got this wagon. I think you guys might be able to use it. And so she picked me up and I presented the wagon, told them how I ended up with two and that I don't need two. I just want one. So if you guys can have it. So yeah, it's been used and they had actually been looking into getting something like that. And then I show up with one. I'd sent a picture of an Amazon listing for that one so they would know kind of what it looks like when it's opened up. So yeah, it has already been used. And I take my own wagon, so we got two there to use, and I put an S on each side of mine to distinguish mine from the one that the powwow committee owns, because they're both the same color. But that's what I'll be doing the weekend of I'll go there on the 20th, which is Friday, and I will sleep in one of the teepees like I did last year, which is awesome. Don't have to deal with trying to set up a tent. And I can have my cot, so it's easier to get on and off the cot as opposed to getting down on the floor of a tent. You just having my my climate sleeping pad. And this time I will take the pump that goes with my air mattress because I had the air mattress, but I didn't realize till after I had rolled it out that I got to have a pump for this dang thing. So then I got a pump for it. So yeah, I will be able to blow that thing up and it'll even be more comfortable to sleep on. But it's one of the few times I get to camp and get out of the city for a weekend. You know, when you don't drive, that's kind of hard. Food forest permaculture in the house. And sorry for not reading the chat. I had to stand up just so I could see who it was because it's sideways. Yeah, I had beef ravioli, which I added Parmesan cheese to. But I do thank you for dropping in. I have nothing left except my fruit punch. This one did not have a hot drink option, so I got me some Ceylon tea in a mug that came all the way from Poland, from Delicious. So that is his YouTube handle. And when you see that logo, that is a real deal. Although you do have to watch out for fakers because I have reported a couple of impersonators and I sent screenshots to the channel owners that there was some nuthead impersonating them trying to scam viewers or to solicit some other kinds of personal information for who knows what. Yep, there is even one YouTuber I follow who's from England. His Instagram was duped like that. Someone put up a fake Instagram account, but there is one crucial difference one character difference between the faker and the legit one. So yeah, it stinks when these nutheads have to do that. But since they don't have lives, they choose to screw over other people. I hope everything is doing well up there in your piece of Canada, Howie. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next week yet. I got to figure that out. Do I play with the chicken chunks MRE? Or do I bust into a Spanish one? The quality of the food in the Spanish rations, especially the lunches and dinners, it's a lot better than the American ones. Yeah, the sauce in this beef ravioli was too sweet. It should not be that sweet. I don't know what the purpose is behind that. I don't know if the sugar was just to get extra calories or carb in there. I don't know, but I had to do something to cut that sweet, and putting the cheese in there definitely did that. That salted caramel recovery bar, I would love to see those out in stores where I can just go in there and buy some. And I'm curious what other flavors this came from Sterling Foods. I'm curious what other flavors of this recovery bar they are doing. I'd like to get a hold of them. Plus, I still want to know if that chicken chunks MRE will have coffee in it, or if it will be like these three that I've opened up so far. No coffee. Had the other usual stuff in the accessory pack. This is the salt packets they're using now. It looks like one you could get from a wholesale supplier like Cisco or Aramark or some of those other companies that make these single serve packets for restaurants or hotels or caterers or anything like that. I see similar packets like that when I go into Gersha. I see a bowl with salt packets and a bowl with pepper packets. So they have to get those from a bulk supplier like Cisco. The salt packets used to be in something that is the same color as this paper here that's on the rear roll. And they put less salt in it because this is probably only half of what the salt packets used to have in it. Yeah, it only fills up half the packet. Probably another cost-cutting move. Just finished off my tea. But I think this will do for now. Oop, brief disconnect. I do apologize for that. All these items that I do not use, I save. I have a collection of all these matches. Same with the wet wipes and the rear rolls. I save all that. The spoon will go into a bag of plastic spoons that I have. And I keep all these because in the event I have to severely restrict my water use, I can break into that bag of spoons or forks. I also have a bunch of plastic knives bagged up. You know, I have paper plates, paper bowls, and disposable cups. I save all these ration heaters in case I have to use them to heat up something. Like a small, I have retort pouches. I could heat them up with it. A small can I could heat up, or I could wrap something in foil and use the ration heater to heat that up. So that's why I save all those just as part of my emergency stash. I'm not a gum chewer, but I save all this gum because, you know, there may come a time where I might actually need this. Yeah, I might need the sweetness or the calories, or, you know, this gum has a notorious side effect, supposedly. Or I could barter this. So that's why I save all those. And every time I go to a Transit Rider Advisory Committee meeting, if they put out some lifesavers, the mint ones, the white ones, or the little packets of Tic Tacs like you get in Canadian IMPs, I've gotten some of those from those meetings. Anytime I see that at my seat in front of my name card, I bring those home and I put them in a bag to stash away. So I have a good selection of those hard candies that don't have a low melt point, not as easily heat stressed, as opposed to something like Jolly Ranchers or the Starlight Mints or the Butterscotches or Red Hots or anything like that. You know, they'll last a lot longer. So that's why I save all those candies, because of that. Again, it can be a barter item. So that's what I do. And because September is National Preparedness Month, it's another way I add to my preps by saving all these things. So again, I will post up what I have decided for next week. I will let you know whether I'm going to have a little extra fun with the chicken chunks MRE, or if I'm going to bust into a Spanish ration. Or maybe I might get the other ones that I've ordered in before next Sunday. So I might bust into one of those. Who knows? But I think I'm going to go ahead and close this one out for now. I hope y'all enjoyed this one. And again, I do apologize for the funkiness at the beginning. I'm going to look into a different foam mount to replace this old geezer that I've had for a long time. But I do hope to see you next week. Thanks for watching, and catch you on the flip side.